Forrest Wobble here, and welcome to another video. As per usual, when I talk about serious situations, it should be noted that that at certain times I will be asking for viewer discretion being advised, and that is the situation here. Because this situation that I'm pretty sure a number of people have already heard of at this point, because it does involve a very popular YouTuber under the name of Chuggaconroy. Um, I feel the need to state that that what I'm about to say is all my opinion, and I have stated my full opinion on Twitter. If you guys want the short to the point, uh, the short to the point variation, but here I'm going to be talking my full thoughts on the situation in question. Now, I want to state for the record that I am in no means going to defend Chuggaconroy because in this situation, whatever he's got coming to him is karma. The way I see it. Straight to the point. And even then, I will say some things that might be deemed, well, you are defending him because you're saying this, but I'm not. I'm saying my full-on thoughts and know that in the end, he did wrong, and I'm not gonna be persuaded otherwise. With that being said, I did see the Google Doc involving this 15-year-old this person who was 15 years old at the time, stepping forward by way of having a third party, speak for them so they can remain anonymous. But it's on Twitter, and if you guys want to see it for yourself, I did make my own thoughts. Like I said, I did make my thoughts known on Twitter, so if you want the short version of it, there you go. It's on there. I even quote tweeted that tweet that will have the Google Doc in the tweet itself, in the original tweet. But now we're going to get into it. These are my full thoughts. I have read the doc. I have taken certain pictures of what was said in the text that I feel like should also be addressed on the other person's side, which is going to tell you I'm not siding with anybody because I feel like both sides messed up in their own way, regardless of who messed up worse than the other. It don't matter. They both, in my opinion, messed up, and we'll talk about that moment when we get to it. For now, let's talk about what I thought in regard to Chuggaconroy's comments. Now, like I said, I've read through the text logs that was provided in the Google document. So just so we're all clear, I've read it, and these are my thoughts on the whole story. Mainly on what Chuggaconroy said, and then we'll talk about why I feel like this this person who was 15 years old at the time, should be under a bit of heat herself because of a few of the comments that she made. Okay? I agree that both sides are wrong. Welcome, Josie. How you doing tonight? Today, technically. It's still sunlight out. If you guys want me to turn the light on to see me better, I will, but I think I'm under good lighting right now. So, here's my... I'm doing pretty good, thank you. So, my thoughts are as follows. And I'm going to play a sound to back up what I'm saying. If my fucking internet on my PlayStation would work with me. Yeah, let me open my door real quick, because usually it works better with my door open. I don't know why, but it does. It makes no sense, but whatever. But in any case, so when I first read what was said between him and her, so like the first, I would say 1 or 2 text logs, it did seem like he was trying to be funny. Whether he was or not is up in the air, but in my perspective, he was actually trying to be funny. Now, if you read the text logs, you would see that he says in all caps, what I'm pretty sure was supposed to be a reference toward an old meme, and I'm trying to play it here, but my fucking PlayStation doesn't want to work with me. If I can get it to work with me, that'd be nice. But if you guys didn't know, there was an old meme back in the day that originally was from some guy randomly yelling at his cats. But this one particular meme was, I don't know if I would say it was popular, but I've heard it a number of times around that time period. That being, this dude, like I said, he was literally just randomly yelling at his cats. And at one moment he says to a cat, for whatever reason, "I'm gonna rape you!" Don't ask me why he said that to his cats. I don't get it either. But that is relevant because I feel like that's what, at the point when you guys read it at first in all caps with him saying that, I feel like he was trying to make a reference toward that meme. Now again, it may seem not funny nowadays because back then, what we might have found funny back then, we don't really find funny now. You know, I didn't even know that. Trust me, I've looked over this in detail. I don't know if he meant it as a part of the meme or not because I'm not a fucking mind reader. I'm just saying what I think was the case. As far as what happened to me, I got nothing to do with this. I'm saying, now if you're talking about my facial features, I was born this way. And no, I'm not offended by anybody asking me this question because at this point I've had so many people ask me that I'm used to it to the point where it don't really faze me with somebody thinking, "You're offending him." No, it's not, actually. I get asked it so many times, it's not even funny. Now, as I was saying, getting back on topic, as I was saying, what's the name? Golden Horror Syndrome. Now, I would appreciate it. Oh my god, damn. I looked at my God, that is not megabytes, that is kilobytes. That's bad. But anyway, we're getting off topic. If you guys want to find out more about me, just look up Golden Heart Syndrome, Google it, and there you go. I'm not going to talk about that now. We're talking about something a lot more serious than that. But I will say, as it first starts out, I do feel like it was trying to be funny. But then as I kept reading it, it was starting to be more of a mix of where he was probably trying to be funny, but it'd be understandable if people found what he said creepy. But then it wasn't until the March text logs, where I could definitely agree he did say some things that were creepy. So, even the most remotely things that he said up to that point in one of the March logs, definitely or not. I'll check that out, but please do not promote other people on my channel. Please don't do that because that is an unwritten rule. Do not ever promote yourself or other people on a stream unless they say a person's name. In this situation, I'm not promoting Chuggaconroy. I'm just talking about him. There is a difference. Okay? Just so we're all on the same page here. I'm not going to promote him. I'm just talking about him. Simple as that. Now, with that all being said, I will say, for the most part, he may have tried to be funny, but some of what he said could be seen as creepy, and I can see that, truthfully. But it wasn't until near the end of the text logs that I could definitely say for sure he said some very questionable things. Now, it's no secret because of a recent allegation coming forth by someone unrelated to this situation that talked about him and his foot fetish. It does happen where there have been at least 4 to 5 at least 4 to 5 separate conversations that involve feet, socks, or shoes, and/or shoes. Who is the person you're talking about? You don't know Chuggaconroy? I mean, I'm kind of surprised, but he's been up until this point, because I know he's going to have a downward spiral for the time being. He was a popular YouTuber, but then this situation happened to him. Well, involving him, I should say, but still. I'm about to use. Hold on. I'm gonna have to use my actual TV for a moment here. Hold on. I only watch small YouTubers. Okay, alright. Yeah, not everybody's gonna be watching popular YouTubers. I get that. But in any case, in any case, I will state for the record, Chuggaconroy messed up. But the last I've heard, why am I using my controller when I should be using my TV? But I will state for the record, last I heard from his roommate, who is Nintendo Capri's son, that I've heard from him that he is seeking help. He is seeking professional help to ensure that this does not happen to him, that he does not ever do this type of thing again. And with that, I will say, whether you still support him or not as he goes through this time, I think we can all agree. I think we can all agree that I hope he does get the help that he needs. But like I've said on Twitter, this will not erase the past in any way, shape, or form. But let's see, people were saying he was attempting to off himself, but Tim denied that earlier. That's because people want to say shit, honestly, and I hate when people pull that. Like they're saying something that they don't even know is, because they don't know what he's gonna. They don't know what's going on his side. The only people that can vouch for him at this point are Tim, especially Tim because he is his roommate, and maybe Proton John. Both of them have condemned they both have condemned his actions, but Tim is, I will admit, Tim is being the good friend and trying to help him get through seeking this professional help that he really does need. Now, I'm going to state for the record, when I first started this story, I was thinking of two separate people. Two separate people, yeah, I'm waiting for John's response mainly. Yeah, I am too. I'm not gonna speak on what Tim and John said. I mean, they both have condemned what he said, and I'm curious to see what John says in detail, but for now, as far as I'm concerned, but for now, we did hear from Tim that he is seeking professional help to do, and I applaud Tim for being there for Chugga at a time when people are understandably turning against him, but at the same time, he does need some moral support at the same time, because while this is a very bad thing that he's doing, I'm going to turn my light on because it's getting dark in here. Hold on. But again, I'm not going to condone what he did because it's very bad what he did. Very bad. But I do think him getting the help that he needs right now, is the best thing he can do for himself. Because if he doesn't do this, if he doesn't commit to seeking this help, it's going to end badly for him. Very badly. Because who's to say if he does not seek this help all the way through, what's to say he will do this again? Now, of course, people could say, well, he might do this again anyway. Okay, but the only problem is, appreciate you're not exactly definitive, but trying to see both sides. More people need to do that, myself included. Yeah, because I've noticed on both sides messing up. He did, and so did she. And Joe, you've seen the pictures I sent you from what I seen on the text logs. So you can vouch for me and what I'm about to what I'm going to say later. But before we get into that, I do want to point out when I first heard of this story and I read what was going on, I was thinking of two separate situations. Okay, I'm actually messing my search up here. But yeah, the first of the two situations, and I was thinking of the second one just now, not too long ago actually. The first situation that I was thinking of was Dan from Game Grumps. Because of how this story came out was very similar to the situation that was going on involving him, even though it wasn't exactly the true story with what was said with the allegations toward him at the time a few years back. For context, and I remember this being on Twitter, because of course it was, I remember he was accused of grooming someone. He was accused of grooming a minor at a time. Now she's an adult, but at the time she was allegedly a minor. And I say allegedly, and I'll tell you why here in a moment. But allegedly he was grooming her, and they even provided pictures that showed the date in the pictures to back up the story. The problem was the age that she should have been at that point in time, like in present day at the time, did not in any way, shape, or form corroborate with how old those pictures were. So how old she was at that present time to when this event allegedly took place did not match up to her being a minor. People called that out, and the person who said the story as a third party person apologized on the about that. And I don't know if I said it to the person or if I was thinking it, but I did think in my head at least that this person was doing what they felt was the right thing. They were defending somebody that they thought was the right thing to do, and I'm not going off on that person. Because if I was put in that position, I probably would have done the same thing. Defending somebody that, defending somebody who was involved in a very bad situation. Because grooming is not a fucking joke. It is very serious in itself. Okay? But on top of that, with what Tim said on Chugga, for some reason, I was immediately thinking of Wesley. If you know, you know. If you don't know, I am not going to talk about that. Because I've talked about it enough last year. Okay, this is getting really... Okay, this is getting really personal now. Because you're saying someone is innocent, and you're asking me who I live with. Why are you asking questions that have nothing to do with this conversation? I have to hide you now because you're not following the rules and you're getting to the point to where you're asking personal questions. So please, don't do that. To anybody else watching, don't do this type of stuff. Where you're getting off topic, you're asking personal questions on top of being off topic. We're not dealing with that shit. No. Keep that shit out of this house. And I mean figuratively out of this house. As in my community, not my actual house, okay? Now, as I was saying, the reason why it reminded me of Wesley was because this man said he was going to seek professional help himself, but to my knowledge, he's yet to do that. And no, I haven't kept up to tabs with it because I really don't want to, keep getting involved in that situation. If he is seeking professional help, I wish him the best, but if he's not, and he said he did, fuck him. He's a piece of shit. Fuck him. And not in a good way either. And no, that's not a joke. I'm being serious. Fuck him. Now, like I said, I do have some pictures that can corroborate what I'm about to say here. In regard to, God damn it, I'm trying to type and think at the same time. Jeez. Yeah, I'm trying to type and think at the same time, so I apologize if I mess up my words here a little bit. But I do want to talk about what this person who was 15 years old at the time, and I also want to say for the record that because of that situation, I did want to call into question if that person was 15 years old at the time, because if there's one thing I know about the internet, that some people who are trying to accuse someone else of doing some really messed up things could potentially could potentially lie about their age. Potentially, not completely. So that's why I took that into question. Because you would not believe how many times I've heard or have known people who have lied about their age, whether it be mainly as a minor being an adult compared to an adult pretending to be a minor. So that's why I was kind of questioning that on its own, because obviously I don't know if the person really was 15 years old. They said they were 15 going on 16 at the time. So maybe that part is true, but still I called it into question because I wasn't sure if that was the situation, if that was the case. Because again, some people lie about their age for whatever reason. So I call it into question. Because if I don't know you, how do I know you were that years old? And as I said to that person, if this person was 15 to 16 years old at the time, nowadays they should be 29 going on 30. So my question to them are they 29 going on 30? Because if they're not, then, and if they're some years older, that could possibly change the story. It would still result in him saying some messed up things, but he's saying it to a fellow adult, not a minor. And while it's still a bad thing, to me, an adult saying shit to a minor is worse than an adult saying weird shit to another adult, because to me, a minor will not see what an adult will see. I could go off and on about that with me. So I can't believe anything anymore. People have sent me stuff on Twitter saying those logs were fake, and I'm just having a headache about this whole thing. Yeah, I don't know if those logs are fake or not, and I'm not going to delve into it. If it turns out they're fake, then they're fake. If not, they're not. Okay, that's how I see it. Okay? So I'm not going to talk if they are fake or not. I'm just talking about what I've seen and what my thoughts are based on what I've seen. But now, I've said my piece on Chuggaconroy. And I will say that as long as these things are considered true, they are considered real text logs, I will continue to say that he messed up very badly. Now, again, if we are to make the assumption that those logs were true, we should also talk about this 15-year-old and some of the shit this 15-year-old said. Because this 15-year-old is by no means as innocent as it looks to be. Because she herself said things in those text logs that even I considered questionable on their own merit. For context, there were 2 times where she was talking about this person that she had. Well, the first time she was talking, the first picture will show, and she was talking about a person that she liked. Chugga would, playfully, joke on it. In my book, he was joking on it. Again, could be considered creepy, but it could also be seen as him joking. So I'm in the middle on that one. Just saying. But around on this particular post, she talks about how this person that she has a crush on was 17, going on 18 that fall at the time. And she even says he was like 18 hours or miles. I can't remember exactly which it was, either or, which one it was, either or. But she was saying 18 hours or 18 miles away from her. A lot of 18, and she would put immediately after. There's a lot of 18 involved here, and then she talks about how the age. She talks about the age limit in a way that is completely opposite of what she should be saying. Now, before we get into that, I do want to point out with the whole age limit law, how it works is where an adult could technically date a minor, but the law says an adult cannot have sexual relations with a minor. There is a difference between dating a minor and having sexual relations with him. I don't think I need to spell it out. Why? What's different here? Granted, granted, if it's an adult that's close to the age of a minor, I would give them some leeway as long as they're not having sexual relations, because again, that's against the law, and I'm not for breaking the law in any way, shape, or form. Even if you're gonna try to say, well, they're almost 18. It don't fucking matter. If they're under 18, they're still a minor. Anyway, but if it's someone like my age, take someone my age for example. I'm 29 years old. If someone my age was trying to date someone who is close to 18, but not exactly 18, I would understand the concern. I would understand getting upset at this 29-year-old doing this, trying to date a minor as they turn 18. I could completely wholeheartedly see that. But then she goes on a little bit more detail in the second picture, saying how the law won't stop us, referring to her and this 17, soon the then 17, gonna be 18-year-old in the fall person that she was referring to in the first picture. But then the very last picture. The very last thing that I see that I knew was very, very bad for her to say, even if she was joking, she still should not have said it to begin with. This then 15, soon to be 16-year-old, said to a then 19-year-old Chuggaconroy, joke or not, quote, I would rape you if I could. So many questions on that one. First off, where did she even get this phrase from? Maybe from the same meme that I'm about to play. This is what I was talking about earlier, by the way, with what Chuggaconroy said. I'm going to rape you! Now, unless she got it from an internet meme, because, internet memes can sometimes make their way to a minor when it's adult-oriented and not for kids. But let's say, for all intents and purposes, she probably seen it from this aforementioned meme that I mentioned earlier. she still shouldn't have said it. And even if she didn't, and if she did not get it from this meme, where the hell did she get the word from? She can't say. I don't really believe she would have remembered it from what Chugga said in their first one or two conversations. Because if I know something about a 15-year-old, they tend to not remember shit too much. Or at least things they don't want to remember. At least that's how I was growing up. Because there were things that I wanted to remember and things that I did not want to remember. Because that's how kids could be at times. Not always, but sometimes. But okay, let's say but if she did not get it from remembering what Chuggaconroy said some time before that, the question would still become, where did she get that word from? Because from my perspective, a 15-year-old should not know what this word is, let alone, at least, should not know what this word means, let alone what it is. I would hope to God a 15-year-old would not know the word rape. Sure as hell would not wish anybody to live that situation, but you get what I'm saying. That's where I don't get why she would say it. That's the worst thing she said. The whole thing with the age limit, that's bad in itself. But when you say something like that, in the last, I do have those pictures saved on my phone. So if anybody doubts what I'm saying here, as far as what she said, I will give you my 3 pictures and it will tell you that what I said was the truth. I already sent it to somebody else who said you could DM me the pictures, and and he came up with his own conclusions on things after that. But for the life of me, nowadays we live in a day and age where even making rape jokes are very frowned upon nowadays. Back then, they were a bit of the rage, because again, you had this meme going around sometimes. You had this meme going around. I'm going to rape you! You had that meme going around at the time. But still, why would you say it? That's the problem. He said his own fair share of bad things, and I'm not using these 3 moments with this 15-year-old as a means to deflect what he said, because he still said some not so very good things, some even remotely questionable things himself. But she said very questionable things on her own. So that's why I'm saying both of them messed up, and this is by no means going to be like in American football, how some very bad things said from both sides are going to offset everything, and I'm just going to ignore who said what. Because I am not going to do that. I am going to hold each person accountable for what he or she said. Because I'm not going to be the type of people that are going to look at the fact that she was 15 years old at the time and said some questionable things and just say it like, come up with some bullshit excuse. Because from my perspective, a 15, let alone a 19-year-old, should know to think before speaking. Like, with Chuggaconroy, when that first person came out talking about his foot fetish, I'm gonna say for the record, it's not the worst fetish I've heard of, but I can understand why it's weird. But as far as this 15-year-old goes, while there was a bit of role play involving feet, a little bit, not a lot, but they do talk about feet, shoes, and socks 4 to 5 separate times in these conversations. I'm saying for the record, I'm saying right here, right now, that with everything that I've read, I can say for certain there are no good sides here. There really is no good person here. She may be the victim, but she said some messed up things herself. And I'm not going to ignore that, like some people are probably going to. Nor am I going to be on the side of Chuggaconroy. Well, if people want to stand by him as long as he is seeking professional help, all the power to you. And I too wish him well as he gets the help that he needs. Because this time it can be confirmed he's seeking the help that he needs. Because truthfully, I can't see why Tim would lie for Chuggaconroy. In a situation as serious as this, I just can't see it. Garcia, you're more sensible than anybody I've seen on Twitter. That's because I'm not that toxic on Twitter. If I feel like people need to be called out on some bullshit, I will call them out on their bullshit. I'm not going to just say, well, this side is worse than that side, so I'm going to side with the not so bad side and go off on the worst side. If I see bad on either side, I'm going to call them out on it. I have no fucking problem with that. And if people got an issue with that, that's a them problem, not me, not mine. It's not my problem, it's theirs. Because they're going under a different standard. Because when I was growing up, I was raised to get both sides of the story, as well as to question everything that I feel deserved to be questioned. That's why I question whether her age was her actual age, because again, I know I've seen a number of people lie about their age. I would know this because I was one of the people that was lied to about someone's age, at least twice. Regardless of the circumstances, I've had it happen twice. The first time was directly told, yeah, I'm not this age, I'm actually this age. And I got mad because if an adult and a minor are not careful, then something could be done between them, and the minor could use that to twist what the adult said in a negative light. I would know this because I've said this story at least 2 or 3 separate times. At least. Good luck trying to find the streams I do it because I don't talk about it often. But I do talk about it when it's relevant to the conversation or if I feel like it can be discussed, because I'm not going to hide anything. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm going to say the truth right down to the wire, even if it potentially gets my ass in trouble in some way, shape, or form. Because, again, I was taught telling the truth may hurt, but it hurts twice as hard when you tell a lie and then someone finds out you're telling the truth. Again, I've seen it happen, and I don't like it. I've seen it happen before, both personally and through being told of it from a third party, from a different person who was going through that sort of thing. Now, on top of that, you also have, so yeah, that's where I was questioning her age. Because again, people on the internet can lie about their age, and most people will take their word for it, but because of how many times I've seen it happen, I don't take anybody on their word anymore when they say their age. I do kind of question it. In the back of my mind, I do question it. That's why I was questioning it this time. Because in my book, if her age is not accurate to how old she, like, if her age nowadays is not accurate to how old she allegedly was back then it could possibly change the story to where instead of it happening to a minor, it happens to an adult. It's still, the situation won't change most likely, but it's still happening to an adult than to a minor, which in my book, it's worse happening to a minor than to an adult, but it's still bad either way. I think we can all agree on that. Now, the other thing that I questioned was, why did she say the things that I put I that I took pictures of and I actually circled those messages in question? I said, why would she say those things? What made her think to say those things? And I did put on a note that I was not trying to deflect from what Chuggaconroy said because they were still pretty bad, or remotely trying to be funny, but still, still bad for the most part, in a way, like even if it was like in the middle. Why would she still say those things? Because it wasn't my intention to deflect from what he said, because, that wasn't my intention. I made it very clear. So those are my two questions. At this moment, I've yet to receive an answer, and I would not be surprised if I don't get an answer from my questions. In fact, I would not be surprised if people take offense to me asking questions. And if they take that as me defending Chuggaconroy, I'm going to stay for the I'm going to say what I said here. I am not defending Chuggaconroy. I am just asking simple questions that I felt should be answered. That's all I'm doing here. As far as I'm concerned, I hope Chugga gets the help that he needs. And as far as I know, he is getting the help that he needs, and I wish him all the best as far as that goes. Now, whether you still support Chuggaconroy or not after this situation came out, that is your choice. As far as I'm concerned, I'm still deciding on it, because on one hand, it's very bad of a situation that he got himself in. On the other hand, this is literally the very first bad thing outside of the thing involving another person recently. Outside of that, this would be the first thing that I've heard he was involved in. But the fact that they happen back to back may seem like it's very well timed for the story to be coming out. But at the same time, it seems too realistic for it to be fake. Doesn't sound too good to be true, but it possibly could be. But we're not going to delve into that. Like I said, we're not going to delve on whether or not it was fake or if it was real. The moral of the story is, as long as I'm having evidence showing that it's a very real conversation, I'm going to treat it as such. If it is fake, I will say something in a community post, since I did talk about it here. At the end of the day, what I said here are just my thoughts. You can agree, you can disagree, or you can be mixed. That is your opinion, and I will respect it. But like I said, these are my thoughts that I talked about here, and I felt the need to say something because so many people are doing it, and I feel like my voice should be heard as a person who, at this point in time, before all this happened, before all this came out, I was a fan of Chuggaconroy, so as a fan, I felt like I should say something. And right now, I can definitely say for sure I am the middleman, because I'm not taking sides, and I'm calling both sides out on their respective words, because that's what I feel like should have happened. But people want to try to defend a 15-year-old because they're 15-year-old and not be cut, and just for that simple reason, instead of calling her ass out on what she said at the time. Now, I will say for the record, I'm hoping to God she does not follow these thought processes anymore. I'm really hoping she doesn't. But I'm still going to call her out on her words from way back when, because even as a 15-year-old, she sure as hell shouldn't have said that. And as a 19-year-old, he sure as hell shouldn't have said a number of the things that he shouldn't have said, that he said. But right now, this is a big situation that we're all trying to get through together as both people who have known him personally, you know, his friends, his family. I wouldn't be surprised if they have heard of this at this point. I'd be more surprised if they had not heard about this at this point. But anyway, anybody that has supported him, anybody that are friends with him, and any of his family members who have found out about this, we're all trying to get through this together. Even if the people who have said I am not supporting him any longer after this, we still need to all get through this together. Because this is a very big situation, a very serious situation that needs to be addressed. And I am curious to see what John says, because Tim has said some things himself, and I support what he said to be honest. But with what John said, we'll have to wait and see. I would honestly be very surprised if I find out he actually did say something while I was doing this. But I feel like he's going to have a few days to reflect on what he's going to say, as well as, as well as what's going to happen, and, what's going to happen with things like the runaway guy, the Coliseum, whatever's going to happen moving forward there. I wish everybody all the best. Anybody that is personally involved in this situation, even with what I said here, I wish every single person the best as they go through as they come to terms with what's going on in the situation, and as they try to move forward, regardless of what they're going to do in regard to the situation that has come about at least 1 to 3 days ago. With that being said, this is all I have to say on the matter. As I said before, if you agree with what I said, or you don't agree, or you're a mixed bag of I agree with this but not this, I respect your opinion. And if you guys have anything you want to say yourselves that wasn't on the VOD or in the live chat, feel free to say whatever you feel to say in the comments. But please be respectful. I was respectful to you guys. I was treating you guys like adults outside of somebody who felt the need to try to ask personal questions involving me for whatever reason. Why who I live with had anything to do with the story is beyond me, but okay. But still, at the end of the day, just be respectful in the comments, and if anybody's going to respond to those comments, be respectful to each other. The last thing I want is a flame war happening in my chat room, in my chat. And if I see it happening, I will take care of it. This is everybody's only warning if you choose to comment on anything, whether it's commenting on the video itself, or you're replying to a comment of somebody saying something in regard to what I said in this video. If there's a flame war going on, I will step in and take care of it. Everybody has been warned. Because this is a serious situation, but we will all get through this together. Regardless if you continue to support Chuggaconroy or not. We all can get through this together. Alright? Alright. With that being said, thank you guys for watching and listening to my thoughts for this near hour-long video involving this situation with Chuggaconroy. Thank you guys for watching. I won't say hope you guys enjoyed. I know I just said it, but I'm not going to say that as an actual saying here, because why would you enjoy something that is enjoy a video that involves discussions of something very serious? But still, I wish everybody a good rest of their day, rest of your night, your morning, day, noon, afternoon, evening, night, whatever time zone you're in. I wish you a good rest of your day. And with that being said, this is Forrest Walpole signing off.